I bought an Xbox Series X, so just kind of on a whim I bought it. I saw Amazon had them for $350, so $150 off. Already pretty good deal. I do that Microsoft rewards, and it's been getting worse lately. But I do the Bing rewards, just hit the news things and get the points and get Amazon gift cards. So I got $150 off already, and then I had $120 in Microsoft Bing rewards. So I just threw those on there, and it ended up being uh, after tax like $250, and I got myself a Series X. So Series X was never a huge priority for me, but I wanted to get one at some point, and it was just so happened to be the day after the Game Awards is when I ordered it, and it was just kind of a thing of like the Game Awards showed a new Kojima game. The trailer for the new Kojima game didn't make any sense. It was stupid and it had nothing to do with games, but I'll play anything Kojima puts out at this point. So I wanted to play that. It's exclusive to Xbox. The new Blade game exclusive to Xbox. So I was like, you know what? Why not? I will jump into the Xbox ecosystem and see where I'm at. So I don't want this to be a video. Save the fanboy comments. Just save them. I don't care. Save them for someone who cares. I have Switch, I have PlayStation 5, I have Series X. So I have everything, it's not a matter of fanboyism or anything. I don't care. I'm not 6 years old. But it is kind of a thing of like, I feel just kind of disconnected from Xbox for a while now. I bought a Xbox One, and Xbox One is maybe one of my least favorite overall consoles. And I say this knowing the third-party library is fantastic, and it's mostly the same as PlayStation 4, but this exclusive library is just not very good on Xbox One. It's just not. So I was over there on PlayStation 4 perfectly happy. I played, some Xbox One games. I really liked Sunset Overdrive and stuff, but I was pretty much, after, I would say, 2015, kind of done with the Xbox One. I got it in 2015. I got the Fallout bundle, if you guys remember. I did the unboxing for that. And then I sold that Xbox One and traded in for Xbox One S. And I almost exclusively used that thing as a 4K Blu-ray player because it was just the cheapest at the time in 2018 when I sold it off. I almost used it exclusively as like a 4K player, or 2017, I think, because it was just the cheapest at the time. It was a Black Friday deal. I traded my Xbox in. It was like $190 plus whatever I got it for my Xbox when I traded it in. And I just never really played too many games on it just because I'm like, I don't know, I just, feel like I'm getting whatever I want. The exclusives aren't bringing me over to the Xbox. But Series X, I've been kind of quietly pretty impressed with checking it out. I really like what they're doing with backwards compatibility. So I was mostly on PlayStation 3 that generation. So looking at what they're doing on Xbox with backwards compatibility where people can, have their game library that they were buying since the 360 days, and some even original Xbox games are backwards compatible too, which I think is so awesome. It's just really cool to see a lot of Xbox 360 games are backwards compatible. A decent amount of Xbox 3 original games are compatible. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, man, I wish, PlayStation 5, we have the somewhat lackluster classics lineup. We got a few PS2 games that were ported to PS4 that are like busted on PS5, like that PS2 classics line. It's just not great. In PlayStation 3, you have to stream them on the PlayStation Now or whatever they call it. Not not optimal. So a bit of a disappointment there, but Xbox has quietly been doing some cool stuff. So I got this for cheap, and then the first thing I did is I got Hi-Fi Rush. So I really liked Tango. I really liked the Evil Within games. The first one, not as much as the second one. I think the second one's awesome, but the first one is like pretty solid for a first game from a studio. And I like Ghostwire Tokyo, even if I didn't finish that one. So I wanted to play Hi-Fi Rush. It just looks really cool. And that game, it's digital only, unfortunately, so I don't have a copy to put up. But that game I really like. I'm probably like halfway through it, I would say, and I just think it keeps getting better. It's like a Ratchet and Clank type game, but it's everything's to like the beat of the music in the background. So all the combat's to the beat, like a lot of the platforming and a lot of just the stuff that's going on is to the beat, and it's really cool. I like it quite a bit. And Tango was in the, owned by Bethesda, so Microsoft got them when they purchased Bethesda a few years back. And it's funny to me. Just the first, I get a new Xbox, and the first game I play on it is Microsoft's one Japanese studios game that's exclusive. So you guys know I'm more into Japanese developed games. I'm not like one of these people who only plays Japanese developed games, but that's kind of a lot of where my interests lie, just kind of naturally. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, Microsoft is in an interesting place right now, I guess, with Game Pass as their main thing. They've kind of forfeited the idea of selling games by themselves, as a $60, $70 product, as much as just subscribe to Game Pass for, I think it's $17 a month. And, you get all of our first party games moving forward. And it's a bold strategy. We'll see how it works. I don't see how it's profitable right now, and I don't see long term when that will happen. We're seeing a lot of streaming platforms kind of imploding once they realize, like, hey, we gotta, people aren't just gonna subscribe in perpetuity to Paramount Plus. We gotta always be offering something. We gotta churn and churn, and we gotta keep making stuff. And we're seeing a lot of these streaming platforms be like, oh crap, Disney Plus, I think, thought they really would just get infinite money forever from people, and that's not the case. And really the only one that seems to be maintaining a pretty steady platform is Netflix. And I think Microsoft has kind of made the Netflix of gaming. They're not, it's not as if, I don't know, you see something like a Paramount Plus or Peacock, where you're kind of like, why does, Universal, Paramount, why do they have their own platforms? Why don't they just license other people's content? It would be like if, I don't know, I want to say a platform that published that doesn't have it. One, Square Enix. They put out a lot of good stuff, but if they were to make a streaming service that was only their stuff, they would need constant content. And I don't really like calling games content, but they would need constant content to get on there. So with Game Pass, I'm kind of looking at it as like there's the first party Microsoft stuff, and then there's a good stream of third party games that are just on the platform. Sometimes day one, sometimes just later, and I think where it lies with that is it's in a good place. I think it's not put itself in the position of something like a Paramount Plus, which I hate Paramount Plus. It barely works on my stupid Amazon Fire. Their selection's terrible. I got it for the new Frasier, and then as soon as Frasier was done, I canceled it. I hate Paramount Plus. So maybe I'm just bitter, but it's just one of those things. It's like, I think what they're doing is neat. I'm interested in it. It's not really for me. I subscribed to it they had a thing that was like $1 for 2 weeks, and I'll probably keep it for like the next month or so, just to mess around with some stuff and just try some stuff out that I've missed over on the Xbox side. But moving forward, I don't think I'm going to stay, subscribed in perpetuity. It'll be one of those things where, oh, is there something on here interesting? I'll subscribe for this month or whatever. But it'll be interesting, I guess, too, with my collecting is, do I want to collect for Series X even at all? Or just when a game I'm interested comes out, am I just going to, play it on Game Pass and then unsubscribe? And I probably will buy, like, games that I want to play. Like, I bought Hi-Fi Rush. I wanted to just have that and not have to worry about it. So games that I really care about, I guess I'll still, Kojima's new game or whatever, still buy physically, still buy whatever. But it's one of those interesting things where Microsoft's definitely, trying to get people not to buy physical games. I think that's pretty clear. And they don't even offer physical games for stuff like Psychonauts 2 or stuff like I said, Hi-Fi Rush. So it is interesting to see where that is with that. And I wouldn't be surprised. I know there's rumors of like the next upgraded Series X coming out in years from now won't have a disk drive, and I wouldn't be surprised by that. So it's in Series S, which is a whole different thing, doesn't have a disk drive already, and it'll be interesting, I guess, with Xbox Series S, just seeing like, okay, what are we thinking with this though? Because they're already like Baldur's Gate 3 is not going to play on Series S, so they're not going to have parity moving forward. What are going to be the big games? Is Grand Theft Auto 6 going to be excluding Series S? Like, having a system, it's $200 less, but I mean, at what point are they going to have to say, like, this is the system you get for your 9-year-old who just wants to play Fortnite? This is not the system you're going to play. And I know that, like, of the modern Xbox consoles, most of them out there are Series S. That's what the sales data says. So they're put themselves in a weird situation with that. But I'm really liking my time with the Series X. I like the controller. I've always liked Xbox controllers, um, and I think I really like the rumble in this. I was kind of surprised. Like I feel like the rumble in this is very prominent and pretty good. I don't know if that's just I've gotten so used to the other systems rumbles, but I really feel like the rumble in this is pretty good. And I still find it odd, like we're in 2023, Xbox still using AA batteries. Kind of a shock because I've just been away from Xbox for so long. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think moving forward with it, I'm going to be still buying my exclusive or not exclusives, my multiplats on PlayStation, just because that's kind of where I'm at with things. I like the trophies, and I kind of like to try to keep my stuff unified. But I mean, if the version on Xbox is better, I'll get it over there. Some exclusives I think are really heating up, and we'll talk about that in a second. Just stuff like that. I think like where we'll go. If something's on Game Pass that I'm not quite sure I'm gonna like, maybe I'll try it out on Game Pass or something. But I did download some stuff from Game Pass just to give it a go. I downloaded that game Lies of P. I haven't tried it yet. Like the Souls-like game with Pinocchio. I've heard it's pretty good, and I'm interested in the concept. It seems so strange, and the aesthetics is pretty cool. I don't know if I'll like it, because I'm just not into that type of game, but it's worth a try. It just going to take up a little bit of space on my Xbox, but I'm not paying out of pocket for it. So I'm locked into Game Pass for I'm going to do it at least for like maybe a month or so. So we'll see how that goes. Just some other stuff. I had like I did an Xbox One collection earlier in the year and kind of said like I'm building up a library of games, like a backlog over there. So once I get a Series S, I'm going to play a bunch of them. So I have a lot of that stuff. I want to get into like the Dishonored games. One of the games I downloaded from Game Pass was Quantum Break. I want to play that one. I have not played that one. I don't have a copy of it, but that's Remedy, their last exclusive with Microsoft. So I've been getting into their games lately, and I've not played that one. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the system as a whole. I think it's a lot more visually appealing than the PlayStation 5. It just looks like a normal PC tower and not some kind of horrifying device that would be on the Starship Enterprise. So I feel like that's a nice plus. It's not quite as big, but I never really liked the Xbox One layout. And the Xbox One layout, I boxed up my Xbox One, so I don't even know. But the Xbox One layout might be different now. But I'm liking this layout a little better. I'm still not completely used to it, but yeah, I'm liking it a lot better. I started brand new with a new Xbox account because my old Xbox account didn't have anything I cared about on it, and it was under a different username I didn't want, and I just wanted it attached to the certain email that I was using. So I'm like, okay, I'll just start a new Xbox account, starting fresh. So I'm Objo Gaming on Xbox Live. I'm not going to accept friend requests, but if you want to look at my achievements or whatever and make sure I'm not lying that I've played Hi-Fi Rush. I also tried out on Game Pass Forza Horizon, whatever the newest Forza Horizon is, and racing games aren't really my thing, but it was an enjoyable time. I played it for like an hour, messing around. I wasn't really taking it too seriously, but visually it was pretty impressive. And I know Playground, the developers, are working on the new Fable game, which could be interesting. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far for sure. And looking at Microsoft, they've really turned around in a lot of ways, and I feel like they're still in that process. I think COVID set them back a little bit, but the Xbox generation was bleak. The Xbox One generation was bleak. You had stuff like Halo 5, which people weren't crazy about, and I still think 343 as an outsider, I'm not like a diehard Halo fan. 343 as an outsider, I'm like, man, you guys are named after Halo, and it doesn't seem like the Halo fans like any of your games. Like I don't know what else to say. You're named after an enemy in Halo, too. So like you're the enemy of the Halo fans. Is that what we're going for? I don't know. But I mean, as far as other exclusives, I know there was stuff, but there wasn't anything like, this isn't even a fanboy thing, but you can list off. Oh yeah, there's Mario Odyssey, and there's Zelda Breath of the Wild, and there's God of War Ragnarok, or God of War 2018, and Spider-Man, man, and Uncharted 4, and then over on the Xbox, like Gears 4, 1 year exclusivity of Rise of the Tomb Raider, Super Lucky's Tale. Like it's just they were kind of struggling, but I think they're really turning it around. They started in 2018 buying a lot of different studios. They bought Obsidian, Ninja Theory, um, Bethesda. You know, now they're buying publishers. They bought Bethesda and Activision. They've made quite a a studio. They have quite a collection of studios now. They have some good studios too. I really like Bethesda's. I don't like. I'm not crazy about Bethesda Game Studios games, but their other studios, Tango and Machine Games and id and Arcane, all those studios are really cool. So it's like that's a great buy for those studios specifically, and then you get Bethesda Game Studios and Starfield and that stuff too, which is also big. So I mean, it's a great buy. So it's one of those things where it's like you're doing stuff. I mean, we got things on the horizon, but we're still kind of in a waiting period, and they've been putting out some stuff, like I said, and it'll be. I really think Microsoft in the next few years is why I wanted to jump on Xbox. Is just like I really think, once we start seeing what they're cooking over there more and more, and we're beginning to, but once we start seeing more and more, like what's Double Fine doing, what is going to come of this new Perfect Dark that seems to be, you know, in a tortured development right now. What is going to come of, that rare game Everwild? Like, this and that. We keep going and going, and it's like, all right, we're going to be picking up on stuff, and we got. I find compulsion games. I find that to be maybe their weirdest purchase, just because like you guys didn't buy Remedy when you could have, but you got the guys who made We Happy Few. Like, all right, but maybe they see something. They announced their game, but what's that going to be like? What is very interesting stuff, I think. And I just want to jump on. I want to play. They have an Indiana Jones game that's exclusive. I want to play that. I want to play the Blade game from Arcane. I want to play Kojima's game, and I'd like to get into a good old Heckblade, as they call it, because I don't want to get demonetized. So there's some stuff where I'm like, yeah, there's definitely enough to get an Xbox. A deal like this is, I don't want to pass it up. And I've been enjoying my time with it so far. This is the most positive I've felt about Xbox in a while. I don't dislike Xbox as a brand, historically. I just am pretty down on Xbox One. I think it's just kind of a missed potential. And original Xbox, I think, is really cool, actually. I really like original Xbox, but this is the most, high I've felt on Xbox in a while, and just being able to have this console that it's like, oh, I can play a bunch of old games on it. I can play newer games on it. Like, it's kind of an all-in-one thing. Try games out with Game Pass that I'm not 100% sure on. So I'm, very interested in seeing where it goes and seeing how much I use it in the next years. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my thoughts off the cuff of what I'm thinking about Xbox, my time with the Series X. I've had it for a little less than a week. I ordered it on Amazon Friday. It came Saturday, so haven't spent too much time with it, but a decent amount of time. That's my thoughts so far, and just my thoughts, I guess, on Xbox as a whole. I make jabs sometimes at Xbox One and stuff, but on the channel, but I never really talked about like my thoughts on where the company's at, where the platform's at, and I think it's in a better place. It's an upward trajectory. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video for some reason, make sure to leave a like. Leave a comment with what you're thinking. Do you have an Xbox? I think Xbox is still on sale on Amazon, so maybe check that out. What some Xbox games that I should check out that you recommend? Let me know how wrong I am, but just keep the console war stuff. Just save it for someone who cares. Other than that, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching.